This is your daily market recap for Monday, April 3rd, 2023. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at XP Realty, aka the Trading Agent. This is your daily market review for Monday, April 3rd, 2023. Hopefully you had a great weekend. Interesting day in the market. Grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable. Let's get into it. First of all, if you're newer to the channel, want to join the Discord room, a link is in the description below. I appreciate all the support, keeping people updated. Please keep stuff pretty relevant so people, when they check in, they don't feel like they have to surf through a bunch of junk just to get to the real goods. Follow on Twitter, dropping a lot of interesting links, thoughts, things that I'm seeing as well. A lot of stuff going on in the world. In my mind, personally, I think again, as we said, when the VIX hit 18, 19, the volatility is about to pick up. So people who are getting pretty comfortable thinking the market's going to new highs, wish you luck. Wish you the best of luck. If you're learning how to trade, have questions about, first and last 3 business days of the month, why it matters, topics like such, go to Dan Max. What is it? No, thetradingagent.com. Here you go. Oops, sorry, I got to upload. Got them all. Recommended lead back to basics again, or subscribe, like, smash the notification bell on YouTube. That's where you can also get them. But here's the order, a little better from beginner to more advanced material. Add a little link for a newsletter if you want. Sign up, put your information, and when I'll probably send certain things out via email to folks who are involved, especially if you're in Discord room. It sometimes might be a better way to send files and upload things, because the Discord room at times is pretty limited to what you can do in the sense of uploading things and sending messages. So again, it will not be used to spam you about anything other than things that I think are important or we talk about in the market. And it can be real estate related. Trust me, it's a game. We're always trying to learn, share information here. Fed Fund futures numbers. Again, it's slightly over a quarter point rate hike expected May 3rd. Keeps lingering here. I personally think the Feds are going to have to raise, but they're screwed. I mean, it's the fight between inflation, deflation, bond buying, and everything going on in the world right now. Money supply, contraction. They don't need to raise rates, because remember, it's a lagging effect, but they need to raise rates because they really need inflation to die. And when I say die, again, because if they raised rates 3-6 months ago, it obviously is a lagging effect, 3 to 6 months. Well, they need to get higher for longer than I think. The problem was they stayed lower for longer. And now what? Inflation entrenches. That's what they don't want. And honestly, then they can get the rates back down. And then if the market drops, they can get people to buy treasuries too, because they need money to roll into fixed income that they're going to be trying to sell, because the rest of the world ain't buying the U.S. government's debt like they used to. I mean, QE is obviously an option, but it's way easier to get the market to buy their bonds to fund the next round of spending, especially the government, who has some debt issues, as everyone knows. Let's not rant on it. Let's get into it. Bitcoin. Chopping. I thought it was going to hold. Thought it's going to break out. Well, guess what? Quattro bottom, quattro top, whatever. Multi-top. It's trading. Let whatever range it goes with, go with. Long, short, I personally don't know. I really don't know. I'm struggling with what's the next move going to be in Bitcoin and gold. I kind of understand I know what the market move is, but after that, I don't know. Oil. OPEC's going to cut. Hard. Going hard in the paint. Cutting. Well, why are they cutting so aggressively? Well, it's because they probably see what? Supply is what it is, but demand is waning in the future. Again, they see the future. Meaning, OPEC isn't stupid. If they see supply too high for future demand, they want to cut output. Now, they know the U.S. needs to refill, but they're not worried about the U.S. They're more worried about business, because they know the U.S. will step in and buy at any point. It's kind of smart. Again, whether you like OPEC or not, they know they have an essential buyer at any price lower. And so if they cut the supply, maybe they can bring back in the U.S. earlier. Again, who knows all the dynamics. Point, whatever. I don't want to go on that tangent, but I think oil prices will go lower in time with the recession, but the floor will probably be higher. That's the best way to describe it. Keep it simple. Here we go. Popped up to an old trend line. Keep an eye on it. 81s. We talked about when it was holding here, something, and this is sometimes why people are like, why is oil rising? You don't know until the news is released. Well, how does it sell the news? We'll see. Natural gas. I get this question about 17 times an hour. No, I'm just kidding. Once or twice a day, people are like, you know what? What do you think about nat gas? I don't think there's much downside. We'd all agree with that. But is it what you want to trade? Do you want to trade this sloppy, choppy piece of... No. Again, if you do buy it, put a stop and let it do its job. Just don't buy the UNG. Yeah, let's get into the dollar as we typically do. So, obviously on the OPEC news, the dollar dropped. People are going, oh, they're giving up on the dollar, They're giving up on the dollar. Oops, there's the weekly. I'll pull that back in a second. That's what everyone's been saying. But how many people remember this run up, right? They're still dumping dollars too. Again, the Feds here have a duty to themselves to defend the dollar because they can't get away with what they've got away with forever if they do not defend the dollar. So it's a fight. We don't know who wins the battle. It's like, who wins the crypto battle? I don't know. Personally, looking at the dollar near term, if this is a double bottom, so even if it just holds here and it makes a higher low, channel to channel, it would make sense we'd probably kick it back up into the 29s pretty dang quickly. 28, 29 area. That's not favorable. But again, like today, I would think the dollar would get punished based on OPEC's, all the news, and like trying to get the petrodollar. It seems to be holding up. I don't know what to say. TLT, you would think bonds would be sold off, right? On today's action. They held up really well. I'm telling you right now, whether you believe it or not, there is a understanding within the government that they need money to buy bonds, and there is a lot of money flushing around, and they don't want it to go to stocks at some point. There is an understanding. If you don't believe that, fine. Then you don't understand how the big banks work, and I'm telling you right now, they would rather have lower rates than higher rates in the bond market. Again, the Fed Fund Futures is a interbank lending rate, right? Different than what treasuries sell at. That's how you get yield curve inversions. You get all sorts of interesting moves in the bond prices, even as the Feds move. Well, if the market is anticipating the Feds to raise rates to slow the economy, will bonds be bought? It looks like they are. The 200-day is crucial. This area, 106, 107, keep an eye on it. The VIX. Again, it is so low, it makes sense. It's time to hedge. I don't know what else to say. People are going to say, oh, this and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what to say other than it seems logical that the bear market, as we've talked about, does not end with a VIX in the 38s. I'm sorry, it doesn't. This is the low end of range. Now, could it always get back to 15 or 16? Okay, maybe so. But let's not pretend that everything in the world as is, and we're not even going to get a spike in the 48, 50 level. Get out of here. So if you're thinking about shorting, again, early. No one's going to admit that we weren't early. That's what's so hard about trading. I thought the Fed day range was the best day to reshort. Well, now you've gotten back up. Okay. We'll zoom out. You're up against some major areas here. I mean, do the math here in the 408 to 412 range, 415. Oh, let's check the monthly again. I've been doing a lot of this. Like, you're back testing trend lines, tons of resistance / trend lines / barriers in the way to get over this price. Now you can argue higher lows. I would just argue head and shoulders top, chop to the next leg down. QQQ up 25% off the lows. It's a new bull market. Those are the headlines to me that say it's about to be the end of the up market. Now, a lot of people don't believe that. I could be wrong, but I zoom out and I go, all right, this thing went from 27 up to 407. Now it's bouncing back to the 20-day. It's old primary trend. Do you remember what happened last time with Qs? Are you sure you remember? Basically 20 down to 20. I don't think this is over with. Again, all that money that's sloshing around in tech needs to go somewhere else, and it always will. Money rotates in time. It doesn't stay in one sector. And what sector is what? What is the sector that everybody and their mom believes has to go higher? Tech. IWM, lag today, bounce today. Anyone else see that today? Had a nice little bounce, and then it bounced to the 20, and then it bounced back, closed right at yesterday's essentially close, Friday. Keep an eye on it. It's definitely lagging. Notice Q's way up here. IWM way down here. DIA, nice little bounce. Obviously, DIA is going to have a benefit from some oil stuff. Okay. Posted that trend line here yesterday. Friday, duh. Where we're at is pretty damn important, though, near term. Just keep that in mind. Let me draw it for you if you couldn't see it. With your own eyes. With your own eyes. Keep it on it. Does it mean, look at the gaps getting a little tired? Little tired. Again, if you watch the intraday action and the closing candle bars, felt distributive. We'll see. Gold. Getting a lot of wrath, a lot of hate on this one. Dan, you missed out. No, shut the front door. We told you buy down here. Go watch the videos from that November Fed meeting. We took profits. Now, again, long term, I am always bullish. I've said this is a big cup and handle with a head and shoulders bottom. Complex handle, however long it needs to take. The red line to 195 is, that's the breakout zone. When it's ready, we know it's got a lot higher to go. If the market flushes, do I want to own gold or do I want to be short the market? That's your question here. I prefer to short the market because if they throw the baby out of the bathwater and gold, silver, even miners get punished like they have with expanding VIXs, huge VIX moves, market turmoil, then I can buy those on the day. I literally can go from closing shorts to buying materials, buying metals. Silver, retesting range highs. Let's move it quicker. Not liking my timing on here. GDX, retesting highs. GDXJ, retesting the highs, fills the gap. Keep an eye on it, right? AG, love what they did. I love that they told the market, hey, we're not going to produce any more silver until we can get higher prices. Well, they might be here a little while. And so if the market thinks that, then I guarantee at some point we come back down to the lows. When? I don't know. AEM, holding up, chopping. Interesting candle today. Makes, retest the range lows and the range highs all in one day. Tough. And big volume on a Monday. I'd keep an eye on it. Just keep an eye. Newmont, just chopping here in the 49s. Yeah, I mean, this is a big area, though. Watch what happens around 50. PAAS, just chopping at the old trend line, little bit above it, hitting some resistance. I mean, obviously, this is the next zone. Keep an eye on it. Tech, it's starting to look a little soft first day of the year, or first day of the quarter, says a lot. Well, what happened last April? March. Here it is. Topped March 30th. Buh! All of tech looks very similar to this. Now at March 22nd, but here's your, retest, 30th. Repeating cycles, repeating stuff. I mean, again, it's not acting well. You got to admit that to TSM, Taiwan Semi, not even close to the January highs. Making lower highs. That's why it's one of our favorite shorts. Patience. Backtest the trend. Channel. Fail, fail, fail. Micron, we told you this was the leading. This is going leading. Sorry, I got distracted with the text. Professional gap. 3 touch. Flop. Now it hits a 20-day, rallies a little bit. I mean, you just worked off oversold intraday in my mind. But when you zoom out, you go, OMG. Why is it not saved? But here it is. Here it be. Praise be. If you know that reference. This area matters. And look at this big wide candle on volume on the weekly. Something is fishy. Tell me something good. I think you're going to see it at some point. NVIDIA. High and tight. Chop and said watch today. If we could take out yesterday's lows, Fridays. Do you know what happens when you stretch a rubber band out? And again, this is how the bigger the drops, we talk about bottoms, V tops, V bottoms, usually with high amplitude. This is getting pretty stretchy. Do the math, 110 to 280. I don't think there's anything doing better in the market. Take a short on it at some point. I think you'll be rewarded if you can be patient. Intel hits the channel highs within a couple pennies. If you can't see it, I'll zoom out on. You can see better on the weekly. Check out the monthly. I mean, everything. Confluence is here. 200 month. Major chop. Major chop zone. Look at this red line. Good luck, Intel. Trapped bull upside target zone, right? Oh, I got too many. I think they duplicated. Sure. Keep an eye on it. SMH, all right. Again, tech lagging today. Curious. If you haven't zoomed out and watched the previous videos, I'm like, I don't want to do it on every one of them because then we'll be here for 40 minutes. SMH, tight and high, up at the highs. Keep an eye. This is a major area, 0.618. Adobe, been on fire. Hits the 0.618. Obviously, resistance zone up here. Chopping. Lower highs. Apple. Crapple. Charging to new highs. At the channel trend line. Okay. Stretching. Again, I mean, their numbers are not going to be good. 125. I mean, you do the math. This one's a 40-something% run. Does it make sense? Nope. Are we at resistance zones? Yep. Are we at trend lines? Yep. Are we rising into earnings? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Do you remember Apple peaking at the end of March? Straight line move. I mean, you can say that's, man, that might be, what is this? 148, that's 18 points. What did this one do? 148 to 179. So a little stronger amplitude, obviously, but same kind of direction. Keep an eye on it. Amazon, we've talked about this 1,000 times. Lagging overall, chopping into a big chop zone. Top of the VAP range, too. Snooze, snooze, snooze. CRM talked about 200. Remember, we zoomed out onto the weekly. Was it the weekly or the monthly? Let me pull them up. Ah, yes. Said 200. Now seemed logical. Why? Well, look at that. It gets up there. Keep an eye on it, because if it fails here, I think you know what's next. I mean, that seems just so distributive. But this is the thing about the market. If the market holds up, they can yank these things to slightly higher highs. Guggenheim, chopping, dropping, chopping, not close to the highs of whatever last week, 2 weeks ago. In my mind, 200. I mean, you can see it's just in a big range. Watch it. Meta rallied at the end. The logic behind this one is so funny because, again, I'm not really much into fundamentals, but I do acknowledge that market can be irrational, and it's coming into zones, especially when you zoom out. Like, Instagram is dead. TikTok is taking their lunch. YouTube gets it. They're stopping, they're going to stop paying creators, or they stop paying creators, which is, again, now people are not incentivized to really post on their platforms. Okay. How long does it rise? I don't know, but that move in itself, zing, straight line. I am not surprised by it holding up with the market, but I won't be surprised too when the amplitude of it does very similar, because it could go real quick. And I don't think that bill is going to pass. That TikTok ban bill, which is more of like Patriot Act on the internet times 1,000, not going to pass. I mean, using a VPN, getting a $200,000 fine, 20 years in prison. Get out of here. Get out of here. Microsoft holding up. Retesting yesterday's highs. Filling the gap, right? Keep an eye on it. NDAQ. This thing is just dead. This thing's dead, but it bounced and it's holding. Okay. It does this after a big drop. Chops. Then it'll die. Remember why? Watch previous recaps. MicroStrategy. Chopping. Range highs. Meh. Netflix. This one's getting interesting because you're backtesting the old trend line and a support zone. Watch the 50-day I play games with, and now it rallied back over it. I would keep an eye on this area. This is the next area to short. Roblox, hey, look at that. Trying to get to the highs of the range. You can do it. We'll see. Again, I don't trust Roblox, but I like it at lower prices. I just don't trust tech. Tesla. Man, how badly did people get played here? And this is what I talk about. Sometimes you're early. You never know when something like this can happen. Closes up on the highs, burnt. Their numbers, whatever. I mean, dude, I say dude like because it's bruh. It's astounding how it hits my brain. They're building a ton of cars and selling them way cheaper than they're building them for. I know they might have some margins, but man, they are trying to expand during a slowing process. Gotta be careful. Materials, letter X. We've talked about this one, chopping. 20-day, nothing. Materials didn't do crap today. Nucor, 20-day, filling the gap. Keep an eye on it, right? Caterpillar, man, this thing was up like 4 or 5 points at one point. Long wick, hits resistance zone, back off. Back off, my Twix. Or listen like some stupid commercial like that, back off. VALE, nothing, 20-day. Arrow, okay, this one holding up a little better. Copper. This candle's rather ominous, though. I mean, seeing that it 18, mid-low 18s, it gotta get over it. Got it. Got to. Not CC Jizzle. My nizzle. Retesting what? The box. You can't like that candle. Gap up, close, back at lows. And I'm talking not Home Depot lows. CF, we talked about, man, I think we might be in the bottoming process. I like these names. Mosaic, I like these names. We traded them up. High five to you. Nice little, that one's, man, that went up 10% pretty quick. At 20-day, I still think at some point they throw the baby out with the bathwater on all our favorite commodity names. NTR, it's 20-day, backs off. Aaron, dead on the money. Dead money, 20-day, 8-day, chopping, just hard. XLF, now I'm not surprised by it rallying back to the range highs. We talked about the 20 days. How many times do we talk about it? It's possible. If you shorted on this day, now you're basically back where you started. Or this day, you're still up. Because we talked about take profits down at the lows, some of the rallies, and maybe some of this entries here up near 32, whatever. It's all relative to this area. Keep an eye on it. JP Morgan, big money center banks, they're going to have to raise their interest rates. Come on, 20-day. Morgan Stanley, not again, a lot of these names don't seem to be 20-day, keep an eye on it. Goldman Sachs, same kind of thing. 0.618, 20-day, retesting range, keep an eye on it. XBI, we talked about this one should be, if tech stuff is up here, XBI should be up here. Watch the 77 to, 79 range. I know that sounds wide, but just keep an eye on it. I don't know. Again, anomaly, something that doesn't seem right? Solar gets a big downgrade today. Oh, well, we're not. Are you surprised? Hits the range, flop, ENPH, crap. Look at that. Outside reverses. Sedgerton, again, all these names. If oil does go down in time, which we think, with the higher floor, obviously, with a high floor, because the U.S. is going to have to buy 95 million barrels. Watch this area. Watch solar flop. First solar, downgraded. Zoop. 20-day. Keep an eye on it. I don't know why I want to do noises, but my brain, it just makes sense. USO. Yeah. Are you surprised? But be careful here. Like, this candle is small and tight. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Again, I've not recommended shorting any of these material names involved. I just don't know if I see a ton of upside at this point. At this point going forward. Keep an eye on it. UNG, bleh. XOP, we've talked about this, right? Talked about this, like, holding our support zone, rallying. I thought you should take profits here, but look, you can't predict OPEC. But man, you would think, again, I would think we're higher, but we're back testing the trend line, y'all. Just keep an eye on this. You would think this stuff would go higher, much higher. If it doesn't, acknowledge it for what it is, and don't be scared to take an L. He's trying to stretch it out, sorry. Something like that. Yeah. So, we'll see. A lot of moving averages converging, all turning down. Things that I don't want to see. If I was bullish, like knowing that my upside be limited. I'm just trying to think about it from the bigger perspective, right? Because you're making lower lows, higher highs. You do this little game where you have, lower lows, lower highs. The stuff's holding up relatively well. It's hard. Again, if I'm long it, I'm layering out. That's all. Maybe I should just bottom line. I'd be layering out. Because again, we talked about like ExxonMobil, right? Breaks out, drops. Now it's retesting the monthly trend line. Like that's crazy. And now again, we talked about maybe shorting it at the 150-day. Well, if you didn't, thank God. And here's the retest. I'd watch the hell out of this area. Oxy, pops, cool. Buffett selling calls. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but look at this stuff. I mean, it doesn't look like it has like this sense of follow through in it. 1 gap, 2 gaps, 3 gaps, trap. Oil's so tough right now. Again, we'll try to see it. I mean, again, can't argue. Like the economy, you could argue, oh, higher oil is good for the economy, is showing strength. But when oil rallies on OPEC, I don't know. I don't think that's typically as good in that sense, right? Like that's not economic strength. That's like cutting supply. That's just supply demand fundamentals 101. EQT, yeah, gaps up, flopping, chopping, tough. PX Dizzle, good for the $9. Again, gaps up. I don't know what zone you want to put, but Dogecoin. Again, at worst, it needs a base to go higher, or it's an inflection point. That's bottom line it. Flex LNG, you would think would be up today, right? Chopping. All right. If you have any questions, please hit me up. Also, like I said, thetradingagent.com, updating that. Join the newsletter, subscribe. Again, it's going to be pretty much just sending messages that I might need to get to more than just the people in the Discord room who are following, especially if you're following, say, from YouTube or Twitter. This will probably be an outlet for me to send, very specific things that fit kind of like both parameters of people who are following. And if you're newer and you just want to follow, that's fine too. But if you're not happy, just unsubscribe or tell me and I'll remove your stuff. Again, all this stuff is going to be very private. It's for me to be able to contact, again, people who I think need to be or want to be involved in the channel. Because again, as we evolve, everything evolves. It's a never-ending learning process. You never arrive in trading. That's why it's like you either love the journey or you hate the game, because you have to love the journey. The game can be hard, but ultimately you will always be in search of knowledge to be better, because trading adapts as we adapt, and people do not change essentially, but the ways that the game can like repeating patterns and change within not changing. Again, it's hard to explain, right? It's chaos, organized chaos. That's where I'm hoping, again, we bring people together for the growth that can be, can be life-changing essentially. As I've always talked about, like that's the goal. Make money in trading, buy assets that pay you. It's not to grow a monster trading account. It's literally to buy real estate. If you need a hedge, you feel like inflation is going higher, gold, silver, certain materials, hedges, pay yourself, create a living. It's not to, trading is, again, if your goal is just to get rich off of trading, that's not really what happens. You get rich off of investing and managing money, and quick hitters are great, as we've talked about, but they're not sustainable. You can't hit a home run every time you go up to bat. It's the law of averages, especially in trading. All right. Have a great night. Hit me up if you have questions. I appreciate you guys. Love, peace, happiness. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.